Just some past HSC questions relating to exercise 209. Right? Yeah. Sue and Mikey are planning a fundraising dance and they can hire a hall for $400. Now that's a fixed cost. And a band for $300. So now, before anyone even turns up, it's $400 for the hall. The band is $300. That's $700 so far. But refreshments will cost them $12 a person. So that's a cost. These are all costs for them. And the question is, part one, to write a formula for the cost of running the dance for X people. So girls, what's the cost? Come on, pretend you were running a dance. So what do we got? 400 and 300 is 700 plus, if girls, if one person goes, it'll be 700 plus 12 times 1 for drinks for one person. If two people go, $700 plus 12 times 2. How do I write the formula out? 700 plus 12 times? Write a formula for the cost C of running the dance for X people. 12 times X. So if 100 people go, it'll be 700 plus 12 times 100. It says it costs them $12 a person for refreshments. So they've got to pay for the hall and the band, that's $700 together, plus $12 per person. Okay? Now, the graph shows planned income and costs when the ticket price is $20. Girls, how do it's not asking me to do this, but I want to work out. Now, it does not ask you to write a formula for the income generated, but I want us to do that. So, part two, the income generated, aren't they accepting $20 per person at the door? The graph shows the planned income and costs when the ticket price is $20. So the income is $20 a person, so it's 20 times X or 20X. I know they're not asking you to write it, but we should write it because we're going to have to solve something soon. Now, part two says estimate the minimum number of people needed at the dance to cover the costs. Can you see? Estimate. Now, what do you think this scale goes up? You've got to count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So the divisions are 100 divided by 5 is 20 people. So on the horizontal axis, that represents 20 people each space. So we've got 20, 40, 60, 80. Can you give me an estimate for the break even? It's there. No. To me, it looks like halfway between 80 and 90, 80 and 100. Well, we're estimating, let's estimate approximately, no, it's more than 80. I'm going to go approximately 90 because the divisions on this graph, 90 people. But you know how you could tell exactly? How could you tell exactly? Solve the formulas. So what I'm going to do, from the graph, it's 90 people. It's only a 1-mark question. That would be enough. Girls, I think it's enough to say 90 or just under 90 or maybe just below. But I'm going to work it out. Do you know how I'll work it out? How do I work it out? I solve the two equations simultaneously if I wanted to work it out. Look, what I've done there is enough. I'm going to solve simultaneously anyway. Okay? So, let's solve simultaneously to see exactly what it is, because they may ask you this in another question. You know, I've got equation 1, equation 2. Do you know what I do? I put the two equations equal to each other. So I've got 20x equals 700 plus 12x. That will give me the point of intersection exactly. 20x minus 12x is 8x equals 700. X is 700 over 8. Anyone got an answer? 7/8. It's 87.5. Who said 88 people? So just below, approximately 88 people said, and that's about right. So about 87 to 88 people is... Actually, if you had to break even, you'd have to go with 88. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no half people. Well, you're going to make a loss with 87 people and you're going to make a profit with 88 people. All right? But they just asked to estimate. They did ask you to estimate, so you can read off the graph. I just showed how you would do it exactly. You would solve the two equations. Now, part 3 says, how much profit will be made? Now, this is asking how much. They want no estimate. They want an exact amount. How much profit will be made if 150 people attend the dance? Now, you can't really read those off for 150. You need to use the formula. So, for X is 150 people, you want to work out the formula for this one. C equals 700 plus 12 times X, which is 700 plus 12 times 150. And then you can work out the income is 20X, or 20 times 150. Is that 3,000? They're getting, the income is 3,000, the cost is 2,500. You're making more than your cost. Also, we're in the profit zone. We'll look at the graph in a minute. The profit is 3,000 minus 2,500, which is $500 profit. Now, let's see if you can see that. I'm going to zoom in on the graph. If it's clear enough on the graph, and it's only worth 1 mark, then the graph should be okay. All right? So, girls, I'm going to zoom in on the graph. Here is the graph. 150 people would be here, there, and there. Look, it's not too bad, but you just got to make sure that you can read it properly, that's all. If I wasn't sure, I'd be working it out. So from the graph, it's about 500. From the formula, it's exactly 500. So it looks like the graph would have been okay. And part 4 says, Sue and Mikey plan to sell 200 tickets. They want to make a profit of $1,500. We've got to be careful here. This one's worth 3 marks. Involves a bit of work. Sue and Mikey plan to sell 200 tickets. So that's a given. They want to make a profit of $1,500. What should be the price of a ticket? Now, the costs will never change. So instead of income is 20x, they're going to change the cost of a ticket. All right? So the cost is 700 plus 12 times x. Now, if they sell 200 tickets, that means X is 200. We can work out their costs. Will be 700 plus 12 times 200, which is, you see what I'm doing? I just want to work what it's going to cost. We just need to work out what it's going to cost for 200 people to go to this function before we can work out our profits, all right? So 700 plus 12 times 200, is that 3,100? So it's $3,100. Now they want to make a profit of 1,500. Isn't your profit your income that you take in at the door minus your costs? So if you want to make a profit of 1,500, that's your income at the door minus your costs of 3,100. Does this make sense? Profit is always the money you take in and collect minus what it cost you to run that function. So your income is 1,500 plus 3,100, which is $4,600. They want to take in, if it cost them 3,100, and they want to make a profit of $1,500, they have to take $4,600 in at the door. Does that make sense? It costs them $3,100. They want to make a profit of $1,500. The income at the door, I could have just gone $3,100. I could have just gone $3,100 plus $1,500 is $4,600. Because that's what it costs them. They want to make profit. They have to take in $4,600 at the door. How many people are going to the party? Ticket cost. 200 people at the party. So what do you do now? You divide 4,600 by 200 people, and it's going to be $23 a person. This is just a multiple choice question here. That's your income. This is your cost here. And the question says, how much greater is the income of the function center when 500 people attend an event than its income? You've got to read this carefully. Then the income at the break-even point. They're not asking for profit. How much greater is the income when 500 people attend than the income at the break-even point? So what's your income when 500 people attend? What is it?
3,000.
No, it's 50,000. Your income when 500 people attend is 50,000. What is your income at the break-even point? 20,000. So it's not a profit. They're just asking for the difference between the income when 500 people attend and at the break-even point, which is when 200 people attend. Now, you know what a lot of people will write? They're going to do the profit without reading the question properly. And the last question, so 2010 HSC, there was another question where Ashley makes picture frames as part of her business. Her cost is 40, that's her fixed cost, plus 10x. X is the cost of one frame. And she sells the frames for $20 each. And her income is 20 times X. It says to use the graph to solve the equations simultaneously. So, what's the solution? Solution is, X is what? 4 frames. And so that's one mark. And the other mark is explain the significance. What does it mean? This is your loss zone. That's your profit zone. When does she start making a profit? After she sells? If she sells 4 frames, she breaks even. You need to say that. If she sells more than 4 frames, sells 5 frames or more, she makes a profit. If she sells 4 frames, she breaks even. If she sells 5 frames or more, or you could put more than 4 frames, she makes a profit. And if she sells less than 4 frames, she makes a loss.